Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I wanted to go into more of a philosophy route. So let's get right into it. Background game today, bro, Kingdom Hearts 2. Not only was this one of the biggest games in my childhood, but it heavily relates to what we're talking about today. I like to consider this as one of the best games of all time, easily the best Kingdom Hearts game, in my opinion, at least. And whether that's driven by nostalgia or I don't even know or not, but I would recommend giving the game a shot if you haven't. So peak. For most of these videos, I get a lot of my ideas from this list of quotes I have on my phone. I've been developing it for like the past 4 to 5 years, and today I saw a quote on there that gave me the idea for this video. The quote being that plastic flowers never die, but they also never truly live. The quote can be interpreted in a few different ways, but we'll circle back to what at least I think the meaning is a little bit later. You're probably wondering how plastic flowers connect to Kingdom Hearts. To explain the entire Kingdom Hearts lore to you would take, way, like, I'm not kidding, like, way too long. Like days. That's why I'm really only gonna tell you about Roxas. Roxas is the main character of the first part of this game. So all the gameplay you're seeing in this video, he's right there. That guy that looked all depressed, that's Roxas, the GOAT. He definitely is the GOAT, don't get me wrong, but I will say we fight him later in the game, and let's just say it's what's the word? You get the idea, but Roxas is extremely important to this video because his entire story in Kingdom Hearts revolves around one question. What does it actually mean to live? If I had asked you how you wanted to live your life, what would you say? I know it's a bit of a heavy question to start with, but seriously, like, how often have you actually put thought into that? And I also think it's safe to say that most of us do have plans for our lives. You might say, I'm going to graduate, get a job, maybe get married, buy a house, have kids. These are all great things, but I want you to understand none of these really answer how we want to live. And maybe you want a life that's exciting or full of meaningful experiences, or just like a lot of people I know just want whatever makes them happy. And these are all considered good things as well. But one way to live, I think too many of us kind of cling to too much, which is living a quote unquote safe life. Playing it safe, right? Even if we have exciting, meaningful, happy experiences, I still think a safe life is what most of us choose. And why wouldn't we though? It makes sense because being safe feels smart. I don't think anyone wakes up in the morning and decides they are going to waste their life. And now, before people become like defensive when I say wasting your life, I just mean spending your entire life protecting yourself from failure, only to realize you also protected yourself from growth. Or, in other words, just never reaching your potential or becoming the person you were supposed to be. And for a long time, I would even sometimes find myself saying things like, I'll start next month, or I'll wait until I'm more confident, or I'll upload when it's perfect. I'll ask her out when I'm perfect. And these are just some great examples of exactly what I'm talking about. None of this sounds like fear. They sound responsible, they sound well thought through, and they sound safe. And this is the illusion of safety. Fear almost never tells you no. And many times fear shows up as a not yet. Fear will not say, don't start YouTube. It says, maybe after college. Fear will not say, don't tell her how you feel. It says, just give it another week. And let me just go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about how my experience went with this, because I have done this with YouTube even. I've always liked the idea of starting some kind of channel where I can just share my thoughts like I'm doing now. But I told myself things like I was waiting until I had a better idea, then I eventually had the idea. But looking back, I don't think I was preparing. I think I was hiding. And waiting for me was comfortable. YouTube is hard, especially starting from scratch. Having original ideas is hard. And this can relate to everything. It can relate to starting a business, asking somebody out, applying for a job, literally anything. And the problem is that every time we choose that comfort, we think that we are avoiding a cost, but the truth is, I don't think we are. So, what is the cost of comfort? Now that we explained what it means to be stuck in that comfort, we have to ask, what does that comfort cost us? At first, I thought my answer was pretty obvious, thinking just like money, relationships. But then I did more thinking, and I don't think these are the biggest things we lose. To me, comfort steals possibilities. Every time I decided to wait to make that video or to upload, there was a version of me that would have done it. And every time I didn't ask out that girl, there's a version of me that did. And the thing is, I will never get to meet that version. That's the hardest part about comfort. It's not that you are living with the consequences, it is that you'll never know what it cost you. You will never know the people you would have met, the places you would have gone, the person you could have become. And it's easy because comfort never feels expensive because it charges you with things you will never see. And this just makes me think back to my YouTube channel again because right now I only have like 1 subscriber and almost no views. If this channel were to succeed one day, I'm probably not going to regret my first tens to hundreds of videos that flopped, but I would regret the ones I was too scared to make. Another good example of this is I love anything creative, and I started making music the past like year and a half, and I found that creating music is a lot harder than I thought. And coming up with original melodies, creating good vocals and lyrics, starting a subscription service just to release them for little to no people to listen to were all part of that process. But I've learned more from releasing 4 songs than I did from thinking about releasing 40. While I was thinking about all this too, I had to ask myself a really uncomfortable question. Earlier, I asked you how you wanted to live your life, but the tougher question to answer is, am I actually living the life I want? And this question made me think for a long time because I don't know if I liked my answer. Was I really waiting for the best time to attack what I wanted to do, or was I hiding? And I think I was hiding, but I'm comfortable and I like my life for the most part. So to answer this, I also had to ask myself, what does it actually mean to live? Because the more I thought about it, living isn't about being busy or checking everything off your bucket list. And to be honest with you, I don't even think it's about always being happy. Earlier, I said that wasting your life isn't about failing to become successful. Rather, it's about never becoming the person you were capable of becoming. So maybe living is becoming. Maybe living is becoming someone who is willing to fail, becoming someone who is willing to create, becoming someone who is okay even when things do not turn out the way you want. And maybe living is becoming someone who is willing to take a risk instead of wondering, what if for the rest of your life? And I think this is why Kingdom Hearts was honestly a good choice of a game, because Roxas spends so much of his story trying to understand who he is, trying to understand whether his life actually has meaning or not. And I think at some point in our lives, we all will feel like Roxas asking these questions. Maybe it's time to start thinking of it less as, am I alive? And rather, am I becoming someone I am going to be proud of? And after all this brainstorming, I think the quote finally made the most sense to me. At the beginning of the video, I shared the quote, "A plastic flower will never die, but it will also never truly live." Think about a real flower for 1 second. It grows, it changes, it survives struggles, it might even get stepped on a few times, and then it dies. But before it dies, it lived. A plastic flower never has to worry about losing its petals. It will never have to survive harsh weather or worry about getting watered enough. It never risks anything, and it never has to change. And that's exactly why it will never become anything more than what it already is. And this is what I've been talking about the entire video. Every time I told myself I'll wait until next month, every time I convinced myself that I just wasn't ready yet, I wasn't becoming anything. I was choosing to stay exactly where I was. I was being the plastic flower, safe, protected, untouched, but also unchanged. And it makes me wonder how many of us are actually plastic flowers. So that's why I said Maybe living is becoming, because real flowers become something. They start as seeds, they push through the dirt, they grow, they bloom, they die, but they were never the same flower they were yesterday. So maybe the goal in life isn't to avoid every struggle or fear. The goal is simply to keep becoming, because a plastic flower will never die, but it will also never truly live. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Still on that grind. I really didn't even, it's 7 in the morning and I didn't sleep getting this video out. So just know I am in flow state. I appreciate anyone that is watching. I know someone subscribed and I know someone, I think, liked the video, the last one. So thank you to whoever that was. I hope you're still watching, and yeah, anything like that, bro, just makes my day. Even if it's one like, even if it's one view, I'm just glad someone's seen something that I spent so much time on. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want me to talk about anything specific, and I will literally be right on that. Next video, I got you that fast. So let me know. Stay tuned. More is coming. I'm only going to get better from here on out. So, yeah, thank you guys. See ya.